Hello there, welcome to the forest. The buggiest survival game known to man, filled with flesh-eating cannibals, the lowest poly rock surfaces and the most satisfying wood-cutting mechanics in the world. And today we will descend upon this hellscape of a land to acquire the hardest achievement it has to offer, going vegan. In order to achieve this daunting task that less than 1% of the human population manage to do, we have to give up on our regular daily activities like hunting for fish, cooking and eating a medium rare ribeye steak, massacring dozens of cannibals and incinerating their corpses to turn their whole lineage into body armor. Oh, wait, my bad, you can still do the last part. Anyway, with these limitations, our best course of action will be to opt for a speedrun and try to complete the game as fast as humanly possible, before our character succumbs to the effects of type 2 diabetes, caused by the metric fuckton of chocolate we have ingested into our system. So without further ado, let us begin. The game starts off with you impersonating famous lifetime influencer Eric LeBlanc. You are soaring through the open skies in the safest American Airlines Boeing 777 when a sub-gram dust particle hits the left wing and the plane falls apart faster than my relationships when they realize I watch hentai for the plot. After witnessing the confiscation of our son by a child protection services agent, we give ourselves over to unconsciousness due to blood loss and a fractured spinal vertebrae. But there is nothing that a good 4,000-year-old Chinese nap and some sugary water can't fix. So in 2 hours we are back on our feet, eager to get back our son. We instantly start off with ransacking the plane for beverages, medical supplies and this shiny looking X. Because I remember the wise words of some YouTube motivational speaker. It goes something like this. A bottle of water can cost you $1 at a store, $2 at a restaurant and $4 on an airplane. But it will be totally free if you are the sole survivor of a plane crash on a deserted island. So next time you plan on stealing something, make sure to cover it up with a large tragedy so it looks justified to the outside world. Anyway, where was I? Oh yes, opening the suitcases of passengers who are probably no longer in need of the chocolates, clothes and watches I found inside them. After I finished scavenging the crash site, I made my way over to the main cannibal village located on the southeast side of the map for the first items we will need to complete this challenge. Unluckily, our plane crashed in the worst possible spot, next to the giant crater located on the northwest side of the map, so I had a long walk through the forest ahead of me. And it was just a bit more time consuming than it should have been, because I'm topographically agnostic and managed to get lost not once but twice in the span of like 3 minutes. But nevertheless, I have arrived to the village and started my stockpiling journey on dynamite, soda and circuit boards. After I was done with that, I made my way over to the nearby cave, rappelled down and collected the cave map to help with my disorientation. I've climbed back up right after and made my way over to the far back tent and applied a coat of red paint on my body. This made me nearly invisible to the cannibals inhabiting this island, as long as I avoided any source of water, as well as a Reddit moderator avoids well, water. So, with this upgraded skin color, the rest of the caves should be a walk in the park. I have darted over to the Katana cave, located just a bit to the north from here, and started ransacking the place for all the money, food, medicine and bomb materials it had to offer, when realization hit me. Why did these businessmen had a sharpened slicing commodity with them on the airplane, in combination with a suitcase full of cash and just the right materials to make a bomb? You know, it might sound crazy, but I think they were planning to hijack the plane. Like that one time in 1970s Japan when Flight 351 got hijacked by teenagers wielding katanas and pipe bombs. And judging by the stacks of cash they were carrying, I bet they were not in it for the money. Boys, gentlemen, we might have found the real villains of the forest right here, with all the evidence stacked against them. This will put them in prison for sure. Oh wait. They are already dead. Am I just getting sidetracked? Yeah, probably. Anyway, I've got the katana and made my way outside when... Do you remember that red paint I've picked up so I wouldn't have to fight cannibals? Well, now that's gone. Lovely. And it is getting dark as well. Phenomenal. So in hopes of seeing more in a night than a blind bet, I fucked around with the color grading and settled on M131. Next thing on the agenda was the Keycard cave located on the west side of the map, where first of all I warmed myself up at the campfire. Then it was time for the face-off. Me versus giant monster with enough arms to humble any MMA fighter. So for this heist we must devise a plan, because I'm not fighting it head on. For this scheme we will need a Molotov cocktail, throw it at the amalgamation and run for your life. Uh-oh. It's that easy, not even close. With my heart rate close to room temperature in Kelvin, I've tried exiting the cave, but the locals created a blockade and wouldn't let me through unless I've paid up. I have reacted to this information as calmly as any man would being taxed, on the scale of murdering the collectors on the spot, chopping up their bodies and using a campfire to incinerate all the evidence. After this little inconvenience, I continued my journey towards the south and entered the rebreather cave. In there I had some scuffle with the natives again while I struggled to find a way down to the next part of the cave, but luckily it found me. Oh, okay, that was convenient. After collecting the rebreather, I made my way back to the surface and was ready to finish the game. While stumbling back to the giant crater, I had a close call when opening a suitcase and almost hit a lonely bunny. This son of a gun almost made me fail the achievement. Anyway, I pressed on and descended into the final cave. Took a quick dive that would have been a major plot point if I still had the red paint on me, but for certain reasons we in fact do not have it. So this was just a refreshing cold shower. But it made me overly motivated for the day and put me in the Sigma male grindset mentality. So I immediately beat the shit out of some fetuses whomst I found lying on the ground. After this scuffle, I took a good look at the crater from the side and re-entered the cave system in order to get the climbing axe. For this part you just simply have to first you break the ankles of this single bushman, clear this gap, play the enemies on the other side like a fiddle, grab the axe and dodge the sketchy salesman.
Hello there.
With the same tactic I used to dodge alimony. I made my way back to the tent, saved the game and started my descending. Slid down the rocks with a technique that would cause any CSGO surfer to roll over in his grave. Sprinted past all the mutants and entered the water cave. I started speedrunning this cave at a record pace, until I've accidentally pressed E on a stupid drawing. This was a terrible mistake. It started playing an inspect animation for it, and as my character was looking at this masterpiece of a drawing, someone decided to introduce himself with 2 left hooks. I tried to get my katana out, but the animation could not be cancelled, and I met my demise to a single bushman and the inspection of a child's drawing.
Oh my god, what am I looking at?
Thank you, Anapixel. Very cool. But during this rage, I have remembered that I've saved at the tent, so this run was not completely doomed. I have reloaded the save and made my way down on the crater wall again, ran past the mutants, entered the water cave, swam through it, left the drawing this time, ran past the cannibals and arrived at the wall where you should use the climbing axe. But all I can say is watch and learn. After this pro gamer move, I made my way over to the facility door, brought out my keycard and made the game freeze for like a solid 2 minutes. After the realization that the game in fact did not crash, I felt relieved, crawled through the narrow parts of the facility and emerged in the cafeteria, where I practiced my capitalist lifestyle with the purchasing of some snacks from a vending machine, drank a cup of coffee and was ready to speedrun this laboratory complex, dodge some child support, outplayed your mother and witnessed some rancid sleeping quarters. How can you sleep in conditions like this? Oh, I guess it's not so bad after all. Had the final meal of the playthrough and entered the main plot point room, where I find my lost son inside the impaler machine, presumably dead. And my first thought after this was that I'm going to do this again, to someone else. Yeah, that's a functioning member of society if I've ever seen one. So with the goal of finding a suitable children's body for my experiment, we have ventured deeper into the facility. After channeling my inner Jetstream Sam, the final boss of the game was defeated, and we were richer with an unconscious child's body. I have darted back to the obelisk room with her, with the body inside the machine, and I'm sure she's fine. Well, maybe not. But she had the keycard for the next part of the lab, so we pressed on. Made my way through a narrow cave system where, out of spite, I used the climbing axe to climb down on the tiniest drop I've ever seen, you know, so I don't feel bad about getting it. After walking through this cave system, we arrive at a rather satire-looking room, with corpses piled in the dozens. And you see, I have learned throughout my internet journey that some questions should remain unanswered. Like, what the fuck is this thumbnail? Why are the ducks so big? Or what in God's name does Kanye posts on Twitter? Yeah, let's not even think about the last one. Anyway, the mysteries surrounding this very room should fall into this collection of unanswered questions that you could find the answer for at the end of the day, but you really don't want to. So we will just walk over it, enter a lift, and stumble upon this second artifact. Walk up to the monitor and consider taking down another plane just to bring back our son from the dead in exchange for another innocent kid's life. Here, I hesitated for a second. Did I really want to do this? Was I really this monster who would kill others for his own gain? Yes. And we also need this ending in order to get the trophy, so no hard feelings, right? So we press the button, a cutscene of a plane crash plays, and the next thing we know is that we are giving a TED talk on the survival of the fittest and the launching of our new crypto rock pool. When our kid has a cringe attack due to hearing the word crypto coin, we run down to comfort him, the screen fades to black, the title pops, and the achievement is finally acquired. Now only one question remains. What does this button do?